Hello, welcome back to the Mind, Body, and Soul podcast with your girl, C. Today's a really exciting episode because this is my first time having somebody on with me. Normally I just do this all by myself in my bedroom, but I have a guest today, and her name is Sierra C. I met her while going to a sound healing meditation for my second time going to one actually, and I met Sierra and I just felt like I really resonated with her and her energy and everything about her. So I'm really excited to share her with you guys and also just like learn about her because there's a lot of things I don't know. So today we're just gonna have a little convo, get to know her. So she does sound healing and Reiki. So we'll learn a lot about that today and just like, I don't know, everything that has to do with it. So let's get started. Sierra.
Hi, my name is Sierra C, and I'm a sound healer / Reiki healer, and I also do sacred geometry Reiki healing, which is just using symbols. They're like math symbols to connect you to different frequencies, and these frequencies deal with more situational options. And then Reiki healing, Usui Reiki, is another Reiki energy that just has to do with like mind, body, and soul energy. And then sound healing is a tool that we use, and they're just sound healing bowls that carry frequencies as well that connect to different energy spots in our body and our auras. So it helps us kind of be in harmony, because if you ever gone to one, you can hear that back and forth energy, like it's like almost like accordion, just pulling in and out, in and out. And all of them carry this energy, and so when you play them, it works with that energy for you and just kind of helps you align yourself and rejuvenate.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if you guys have gone to like sound healing or experienced it, but I discovered it kind of by accident. I saw like someone post about it, and it was like in Venice at a beach, and I was like, that sounds cool. Like, I need to be practicing my meditation more, so it sounds like a good way. You know, group meditations are really powerful. So I went to that, and then ever since then I've been, going to some other ones, and it's really powerful, and it's like a meditation on steroids, honestly, because like you're meditating by yourself is so powerful, but when you're meditating with people, but then with these sounds and with someone who has the gifts to give you that sound is so powerful. Every time I leave, I always feel like such a different energy, and even during it, I feel like I have really powerful like just my mind is just on this other level. So if you guys haven't done sound healing, definitely check it out. It's really just like amazing. But like back to you, how did you discover, like I would love to know, how did you get started with doing that and like learning that you do have the like powers and like gifts to heal people?
So I started about 2 years ago, and probably like kind of Christmas time. So I had gotten my first sound bowl in Flagstaff, which is kind of on the outskirts of past, like on the side of Sedona or going to Sedona. I can't remember, but I went there and got my first sound bowl, and I was like playing it every day, and I got hooked on it. And then I had started going to sound baths in May with my now friend Sarah, and my mom took me to one, and I just was having like really bad anxiety for about a year before that, and like so bad that I wouldn't even leave the house. That going on the way there to that sound bath, like I literally was freaking out. And even when we sat down, I was like hyperventilating because like I just was dealing with it for a while. And so during the sound bath, I was crying, and I was like feeling like peace for once, because I was always so tense, always afraid to have another anxiety attack. And in that moment, it was like the first time I had peace in a really long time. And so I was hooked, because I was like, I need this. Like, it makes me feel so relaxed. I feel lighter, and I also feel connected to sound more than just like talking, because it's actually, I have a hard time meditating, so using sound healing is like my meditation.
Yeah, it's like a language.
Exactly. Like that's actually how I got into meditating, because I never meditated before.
Yeah, that's what I find interesting is how you told me, like, because, like, I feel like when I think of people that, you know, are helping us heal and are in a different place than I am, and they're, like, on, like, a different level, I'm like, well, they must meditate all the time. They must be so, like, aligned and in tune. And in reality, everybody is their own individual. Everything works differently for people. Everyone resonates differently for things. So, like, didn't you say, like, that one we went to that you were doing your sound bowls, but they did the meditation before? That was, like, one of your, like, more recent times meditating in a while?
Yeah, because I actually don't meditate all week till my own event, because I have this thing where I just don't feel as comfortable in a room doing it than, like, in a group setting. I feel more at ease, more like it's the time to do it. Yeah. And so yeah, that was, like, the closest time that I was meditating, because sometimes I do it during the day, but very rarely, because it's really hard to take the bowls out of the cases. And so I only meditate, like, once a week at my events, and that's honestly works for me. But if there's, like, a retrograde going and I feel really ungrounded, then I will do, like, maybe 2 bowls for, like, a couple minutes, and it helps me reset instantly. That's why I love sound healing.
And you do the bowls yourself to meditate?
Yeah, I do play, like, to myself, because my mom doesn't know how to play them, so that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that there's such an idea of a spiritual person or spiritual healer. There's such a typical stereotype. Yeah. And that's why I love my mentors, because they're real. Like, they're like, you know, there's going to be shit that you're going through. There's going to be bad. We don't meditate every day. Like, it's just how it is. I think that's why it's good to talk about it on your podcast, so people could understand that they don't have to be perfect to come to an event.
Exactly.
It's meant for broken people. Like, we're all broken. We're not perfect. We all have issues.
And I totally feel that, because I feel like as I'm getting into it more, and, like, I've had people reach out to me, I feel like some people feel like, oh, like, they don't feel like they know how to meditate, so they don't want to go to an event where there's sound healing, or they don't want to go to group meditations, or yoga. They don't even want to meditate because they don't know how to meditate. And, like, I was talking to this one girl who reached out to me, and I told her, it's like, she's like, I try to meditate and I was, like, struggling. I feel like maybe it's not for me. And it's like, it's a practice. And same with, like, sound healing. Like, when I go to the sound healing, every single time it's different. Like, for example, like, today we actually just came from one, and I was kind of late. I was actually very late, because, you know, the universe wanted me there at a certain time. I had to allow it because my GPS was rerouting me, but whatever. Anyways, during this meditation, I, like, went in with intention, and I did feel my mind was wandering a lot more than normal, but I allowed it and reset it. Every single time I was like, I kind of allowed the thoughts to come in, and then I would catch myself and be like, okay, focus on the sound again. And that's, like, the power of just, like, being with yourself and being aware. Like, even, like, Asira said, she's healing too, and she's going through things too. She does feel energy, and she can clean and, like, cleanse people of energy, and, like, she can feel chakras and, like, all that stuff. But, like, everybody is going to be constantly healing. So if you're feeling like you're not ready for it, I promise you are, and you should get started now, because it's only going to get harder.
Because it's like, it's exactly what it is. It's a practice. Like, every time someone comes to a sound bath, like, say I have a person come to their first one, like, every week I see them transform and get more comfortable with it, because it's something new. It's something that's not as known as it hopefully one day will be. And, like, it's just a practice. Like, every time you come, you get more comfortable. We're really welcoming people. Like, we get you comfortable. And it's like, you don't have to be perfect at it. Like, it's just, like, you adjust to how you want to be in meditation. Like, I always give free flow kind of things during it. I'm like, oh, like, if you want to lay this way, you want to lay that way. If you want to do breath work, this and that. It's just kind of adjusting yourself to the setting as you'd like. And I'm just kind of a part of your journey when you come. And just, like, I just guide you, but you do pretty much whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and like let things come and go.
Yeah.
How did you figure out that like you have the gift to shift people's energy, and how did you figure out that you have the ability to shift energy? I felt it from you firsthand. So like I've felt it before, and like even when I go to like the sound bath, I can feel it. So how did you figure out that you had that gift?
Oh, well, about like last year, I started to do in person around COVID. So I went to my cousin's house, and we would do healings on her friends. Those were like my first clients, and I was just using simply just my own energy. That was before I got Reiki attuned. I was just healing with crystals. So I would put crystals on their body, and then I would unwind and wind up the chakras and move energy out of their space, and they instantly felt cleansed, because we have power in us already. We don't need Reiki energy. I don't need Reiki energy. You don't need Reiki energy to heal. It's like we have the capability to do that already. So it's just kind of connecting to that yourself and then doing it. So that's kind of how I figured I could do it, because I did it without Reiki energy. And then I kind of just grew from that, learned many more things from people, and I just made my own way of healing. And that's how it works for me, and that's how it works for people that I heal.
One thing I wanted to ask you is, like, do you think that everybody, because you said that, like, you figured out that, like, you're able to transfer energy and, like, do that. Do you think that everyone has that power, or, like, has that gift?
Yes and no. Because I think you have to have it naturally, a little bit at least be somewhat in tune to your spirituality. Because like if you go to someone off the street, like, and you're just like, oh, heal me, like, how is that gonna work? Because I think you have to be a certain point in your life where you understand perspective, you're open, you're considerate. I feel like you have to have some like good qualities to the point where, you know, I can be sympathize for you. And you have to be open and understanding. I think to be a good person and good healer, I think you have to be open-minded, and some people have a hard time with that. So I don't think that everyone can just heal, because I think it might be a bad impression on some people and affect their idea of what healing is. And so I think yes and no, because it just really depends who you are as a person.
As humans and like as souls and like having this experience on earth, we all are capable of our gifts, but it has to do with remembering them. And I think that maybe certain people are able to see their gifts at different times in their lifetimes. Like that makes sense. Like I feel like I'm still discovering some of my gifts, and like you discovered yours really early, which is amazing. And like some other people might they might have the same gifts as you, but maybe they don't discover it in this lifetime. You know, because a lot of it has to do with being open to it, and like also healing yourself. And like I feel like everyone has like certain gifts, you know.
I feel like exactly what you said, but it's just like I feel like everyone has a time. Because I feel like when I discovered it, it was perfect timing. And I feel like all the healers that are healers now, it was always divine timing for them. Like, it just happens when it's supposed to. So that's why I think it's like not everyone is just supposed to be healing people. Especially because you should definitely have some knowledge to an extent to understand energy and what the chakra system is and how you work with energy, because there can possibly be negative energy that you have to know how to work with and release. You can't just heal and heal and heal, because you'll get stuck with energy. So I think it just depends.
I wanted to ask you, with like you're cleansing people and you're shifting people's energy and you're able to see people's energy, do you ever like, one, do you ever fear that it can grab onto you? And two, like, how do you not, like, get afraid of that?
So, I think that goes back to the healing aspect, that you can't be afraid of negative. Because if you're going to heal, you have to know there's negative. You have to be open to, like, digesting it. Because you can't just say it's all sunshines and rainbows, because it's not. There's always going to be bad and negative. So I think it's like first realizing, like, I'm going to have to deal with some negative stuff sometimes. Some people carry attachment, some people carry ghosts, spirits around them, you know. And how I cleanse it or like get rid of it would be like, well, of course, using herbs to cleanse, and then also being aware of your own energy is really important when healing, because when you heal someone and you feel their pain in your stomach, you don't want to think that's your pain. So you have to be really aware of your body, conscious of your own energy, your own feelings, your own thoughts. Because if someone has suicidal thoughts, like, do you want to think you have those? Because sometimes you can get people's thoughts when healing, especially Reiki healing. It's kind of like you become a mirror of them when you're healing. And so I'll feel back pain, I'll feel stomach pain, I'll feel nauseous, I'll feel head pain, I'll feel congested, etc. So it's kind of like you have to be aware of yourself. So that when I go home and cleanse myself, I say, like, I didn't have this pain in my stomach, so I need to move the energy from my solar or my sacral, you know? So, but I do use, like, sound healing to cleanse myself because it's vibrational, so it helped me be aligned so that I could decipher what is mine and what isn't. And then also I use Reiki healing on myself. I can also do it on myself to move energy or raise my vibration so that negative is easier to just push off of me. But visualizing's really, really helped me get rid of it, because I picture it like balls of energy flowing around me when I figure out where it is in my space. And then I like move it with my hands, because you could unravel and ravel energy with your hands. That's how I heal people. It's like I pick it up or I drag it out. Wow. So that's kind of how I do it. Is visualizing is really important for me.
So you make sure you cleanse yourself even after sound bath?
Yeah.
Really?
It's really important.
Because you can feel like...
Because even if I'm not doing Reiki healing, when I do sound healing, I'm so close to the bowls that, like, my energy is being pulled and yanked and stuff. Like, my legs get numb. They start shaking. Wow. Like, when I feel the energy. Also, because I'm a little bit more sensitive to energy because the awareness. Like, my head will hurt. I'll feel anger after, because I'm also clearing with you guys. So, we're healing at the same time. So, like, you know, it's kind of just being aware.
That's, like, that. Amazing. Just because, like, you're going to the next question, because, like, your age. It's, like, you're so young, but so self-aware to the point where you're self-aware about yourself. You're also self-aware about other people's energies to the point where you're able to heal them, and then you're also able to protect your energy. Like, that is amazing.
Thank you.
Like, that is just so amazing. And, like,
perspective and awareness are all important in healing aspects.
As a kid, did you ever feel like when you were growing up, like, did you ever feel like you had these powers, like, or how, I guess, like, you said, like, 2 years ago you felt like it started. Yeah. But, like, as a kid, did you ever feel like you were born with it?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, my spiritual journey started, but, like, my whole, you know, like, gifts and my spirituality internally, my soul was, like, when I was about, like, 3, 4, like, I saw spirit in my grandpa's house, and that was the beginning of it, where I shut my gifts off. And also, like, I have the gift of visions and knowing, the inner knowing of a lot of things. They're kind of wild. And so when I started getting deja vu almost every day about things, like, and my dreams were just crazy, like, just deja vu, like, constantly. And I started to talk about it with people, and they thought I was crazy. They didn't understand it. They didn't know what I was saying. They're like, no, it's just a dream, a regular dream. I just shut my gifts off. And so that was kind of when I figured that out. And also, I used to talk to the sky a lot. Like, I used to have a tetherball in my grandpa's backyard, and I would be playing at nighttime, just looking up at the sky, talking to myself. Because I wasn't aware, but I just felt like I was connected to something else. And just, that's kind of how I got, like, my starting, was when I was really, like, younger. But, actually starting to connect with my gifts was probably, like, in 8th grade or 7th. Probably 6th grade. I had my first ever panic attack in class because I was feeling so many energies. So I guess that's when my awareness shifted as well.
Can we say your age?
Yeah.
How old are you?
16.
16. Literally. But, like, so mature. Like, you have such an old soul.
I do get that a lot.
Like, it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And like it's just like amazing. But that's so interesting. When you were so young, you felt like you were having these like memories, deja vu, seeing things, but then it kind of like you were closed off because people told you that that's not what it is. And that is one thing that like I've been learning so much about, just like life, is the programming.
Yes. Because
when we're kids, we are pure souls. We are very open, and we don't have any of these, I mean, I guess
thought
patterns that
society,
anxiety, depression, like all that. A lot of that stuff gets programmed, and that's why it's like when kids say they see these things, as like parents, it's so much more healthy to kind of hear them out and help them, like have them write it down or draw pictures or like understand it, because that is true. The kids are not just, oh, it's just a kid having imagination. It's like they're so pure, they're able to see that. They have those gifts before they go into all the programming of everything that society has put into our brains.
And that's what I would say is like imagination is powerful, because every time I do healings, I imagine stuff. And so when you're telling kids not to imagine things and not to do that, you're shutting them off immediately from their gifts, when they can totally be helping so many people. I mean, people who have amazing gifts where they're just like they can touch things and know what, like, the memory behind it and stuff like that. Like, they help people with crimes, murders, investigations. Like, this is why we should be open to these things, because it is out there. Magic is real. Spiritual stuff's real. You know, like, just let it be known instead of hiding it and being afraid from it. And that's why I think it's important that, like, the whole world's changing right now. Like, people are just becoming more open, more, like achieving of it, like just like, oh yeah, like this is real, I agree, like this is a possibility. At least just being open-minded is important.
Especially when you think of the bigger picture of life, it's like, how does this not make sense? Just like life in general. It's like, this is so crazy that we're like here, we're like this living vessel. We're doing A, B, and C. We're able to have these thoughts, create emotions, and people just don't believe in this other stuff. It's like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Like, I feel like people need to start questioning things more. Like, don't just go with the flow. Like, expand your knowledge and mind. Like just, even if it sounds crazy, at least know it's a possibility. Because just being aware of different topics, different things in the world, spiritual or not, it's just good to know. Just good to know, because you never know what situation you'll be in.
I feel like when it comes to like people, like sometimes people ask me like, oh, like how did you get on your spiritual journey? Or how did you become spiritual? And I'm like, I didn't really become spiritual. I've always been spiritual, but I'm just learning more about myself and finding myself. You know?
And that's the thing too. It's not like you don't just become spiritual. You don't just do spirituality. Everyone has it. Like, as long as you have a heartbeat, you're spiritual. Because that's just energy you have. Your soul, we all have souls. Like, no matter what, we have something in us that makes us heartbeat. Like, as long as you're breathing and you're alive right now, you should totally be open to spirituality. But spirituality, you don't become it. It's just a tool that we use to understand ourselves more.
And just like, I feel like I really am loving just how more, I guess, open it's getting.
Known.
Known. Just because, like, I didn't even really, it's really interesting. I went to Melrose Trading Post. Have you been there?
No, I've heard of it and I've seen it, but I haven't.
They have this, like, I actually should ask you what it's called, because I think it's used during some sound baths, but it's like this big. It's like $800. I didn't get it. I was like, what? I thought it would be like $50. but like you like have this little instrument and you like play, and it has like each part of it has different sounds.
I know. I don't know what it's called, but I know it's like a little metal dome thing. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. I know what it is, but I can't think of it right now.
Are those used for sound healing?
Yeah. So basically, that's another thing that we should talk about. Like, sound instruments are so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, my setup cost about $1,200 to $1,300. Because just the bowls themselves cost almost $800, $700. Really? It all depends on size, but it's also because not that many people make these instruments. So it's kind of a rare thing, just like crystals are rare, some are not, you know? So that's another thing that kind of is out there, like who knows how long we're going to have these instruments for, because only some people make them. Like, especially the Tibetan bowls. So Tibetan bowls come from Asia or India, and it's called like the Om store, or it's some Tibetan store called, but they're like the main manufacturers, and it's real people who like hammer these, they burn them, they make them all by hand, like just process after process, hammering them to perfection so they can make this one noise.
Wow, that's amazing.
And like,
it's not just like plastic you get on Amazon. You can't get these on Amazon.
Yeah, like there are prices because people make them, and I understand why they're expensive, and I think that's why there's this video on YouTube I would suggest. It's called How a Tibetan Bowl is Made. I would really suggest that to anyone who wants a better understanding of how it's made and why they're expensive, because that's the thing too, like you can't put a price on something that's handmade, because time and work and energy and who knows, they may not be getting paid good, and it's intense how they're made. And I think it made me appreciate them more, because they even said that some people write their stories on them in their language, and so I just think it's beautiful, like just it's crazy.
So ordering those and then they ship them to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, they get shipped here already. Like, you could go to probably any metaphysical store that has some. But that's why they're, like, expensive.
So expensive.
Yeah. So that thing that you said was $800 was, like, handmade, hand-hammered, like, specifically tuned to a certain frequency, each little tapping thing.
Because it's not something you can just, like, get a big manufacturer and, like, make them. Like,
yeah, because almost all spiritual, like, instruments are handmade, like... Yes, everything's manufactured in the world, everything's handmade, but these are like sweat and tears into them, you know? Like, I feel like they just put so much work to make them perfect, because they have to be perfect for one frequency, one crystal bowl, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's why I saw the bowl and I was like, I felt so called for it. I think I'm gonna get it someday. But I was with my friend and I was like, I want this so bad, and then we looked at the price. I was like, okay, not today. But I thought that was like really cool.
I had went to San Francisco, and there was a guy who owns a shop, and I can't remember the name. I'm not good with names. So he had a bowl that was about $1,000 because they have people that make these full moon bowls. They're called full moon Tibetan bowls. They have the moon's phases on it, and they do it for 4 months. Every full moon they hammer it and burn it and make it so that it carries that energy.
Only on the full moon they work on
it? 4 full moons in a row or something, they said. And I just thought that was insane. Like how much work and effort goes into this stuff. Like, it's beautiful. And it's amazing.
Like, it's also like, you know, I don't even know how to explain this, but like the ancient ways and like a lot of the practices from like, I mean, our ancestors and just, like, time. It's, like, that still exists, but we're just kind of, like, in this programmed, like, systematical world where it seems like it's rare.
Exactly, because it's, like, it's always, like, funny to me how people are, like, oh, I feel so drawn to nature. It's like, well, yes, because that's where we are from. Yeah. Like, we're from the world, the earth, you know, like, Mama Earth. So, like, Pachamama, sorry. Yeah. So, like, how can you not expect to feel connected to her when this is your home? Like, just, like, I just feel like people need to get out more and figure out, like, how connected they are to the elements, because it's for a reason, like, I think just explore the elements: fire, air, and water.
And like one thing, normalize, like I just want to normalize like being by yourself is okay. That doesn't mean you're depressed.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're a loner. That doesn't mean that you're antisocial. Like for me, I recharge by myself. I also recharge with like-minded people. But I do get drained when it comes to having conversations or being in environments that are not really aligned to me, but that are part of the world I live in, you know? So as like my spiritual journey has like unveiled itself, I've realized how important it is to be by myself and like being out in nature by myself. Like I love hiking with friends, I really do. But hiking by myself just gives me this other, like I usually have realizations, I'll have like epiphanies where I'm like, that's what I need to figure out. Like there's times where I put my headphones, keep them in my car, I don't bring them. If I have to figure something out with myself, I don't bring them. I pay attention to birds because wings, for some reason wings are very aligned with me personally. I see butterflies and birds. I've had a lot of encounters with birds recently.
Me too. They've been chirping. Like, I feel like they have a lot of messages for us right now because I went to Earth Cafe with my friends, and the bird kept flying over our heads. It kept flying and kept talking. Every time we were speaking about something interesting or spiritual or something, a spirit or something, it always flew over us and almost hit us and then like started chirping away. Like, and I just feel like that's how we connect to like spirit or like whoever you believe in. I feel like they come and they just send us little signs like that. But yeah, for some reason the birds have definitely been more active. Maybe it's because summer solstice energy, I don't know. But it's interesting.
I went on a hike and I saw like 7 different types of birds. Like I saw 2 parrots. And I feel like I haven't actually seen a wild parrot. Like I've seen them like at the zoos or like sometimes people have them as pets, but I saw 2 parrots and I was like, wow. And then low-key, this is kind of sad, but twice 2 birds almost hit my car. Like it was like I saw the birds, I was going so slow to not hit them, but they were like trying to hit my car.
Oh wow.
I don't know if there's some meaning behind that.
Let us know.
Let us know if you know what that means, but I was like, I did not hit the bird, but like it was hitting my car. Like I was like, can you not?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he just kept coming towards my head. I'm like, I don't want to get hit. Like
oh, that's so interesting.
It is. I noticed like after every sound bath, a little hummingbird comes, a little baby one. He sits on the wire, and he looks at me, and then he leaves. Or he'll start talking, and then he'll leave. And it's so weird because he only shows up after everyone leaves, and I feel like that's like someone communicating to me, like spirit guide or universe, like, hey, you're all right, you're doing good.
That means you're
like,
on the right track.
Yeah, I just felt like I love hummingbirds in that spot that we do it at. Cause
is it every spot?
Kind of is. Like at least one bird always comes by, like, or some symbolism. Almost every sound bath is so special, like energetic wise it is never the same. Like it's so crazy. Like I mean, you've experienced it firsthand, like going to my full moon ceremony to like today's, the energy is so different. Like it's just it's interesting how it changes. And so I feel like every time a different totem comes, it's like a different meaning or different representation. Like last week's event, I had a white butterfly like almost land on me, and I was talking to someone and then it just flew right in front of my face, and it kept going all around me during the whole sound bath. And now I don't know if it's like the messages, but it's also I think the vibrations that attract them, the high vibrations from the instruments and the community collective energy as well. Because when you're in a space with multiple beings who are bringing in light, we're helping everything all around. We're helping ourselves, we're helping the earth, we're helping the city. Like energy, like one person can affect many. It's a ripple effect. So.
I love that. I love that, because when you were like playing today and at the full moon too, the birds, they go to it. And like I usually when I listen, I go from like I feel like I hear them together, but then I'll take time to just hear the birds, and then I'll take time to just hear your instrument, and then I'll take time to just hear the birds, and then together. But it's like
they work
beautiful.
together.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can notice it too when I play faster or slower. Like, it's like they come in when it's fast, and then it's like intense moments, and it's like art. It's just like I'm just playing music, but with vibrations.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
And everything's energy. Everything is energy. Like,
if you don't believe in spiritual stuff, you must believe in science and search it up. Yeah. Energy is everything.
And honestly, science is spiritual.
Yeah,
exactly. Spiritual is science. I don't know which.
Yeah,
you know,
like, well, they're the same.
It is.
It's just one's kind of proving the other. That's it.
Yeah, especially when it comes to astrology, which, like, I'll do a different episode on that.
Yeah.
But, like, astrology is science. You know, you're literally studying the degrees of the planets and the sun, and everything is correlated. Yeah. Like, that's why it always rubs me the wrong way when people are like, I'm not spiritual, I believe in science. Yeah. I'm like, I believe in science too. Moral of the story is that, like, it's all correlated together, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, science is, like, measurements and stuff, and so is astrology, so is energy.
Yeah, I feel like if you believe in one, you should believe in the other.
Yeah, just open your mind.
The yin and the yang, even in that, you know, like, I just feel like it correlates together.
Yeah, open your mind, and, like, as Sierra said, ask questions. Asking questions is like question things. Just have a day by yourself and start questioning things, and then, like, reflect on it. And I feel like it can kind of help your own healing. I feel like I try to heal myself all the time with, like, just questions and, like, reflecting on myself. You know?
I do try to, like, question everything, especially when healing. You have to question the energy. You have to talk to it like if it's another being, because it kind of is. I mean, you can manifest negative into your life and you can manifest good. So it is like questioning is important during everything, I feel. If you don't question, start questioning, because you'll just explore so much more and be open and understand yourself more. Like, if you snap at something and someone asks you why are you snapping, you should question it yourself and be like, why am I snapping? There's no reason to snap at that. Like, oh, I dropped a pencil and you're furious. Check yourself and ask yourself why.
Yeah.
What is more to that? Or how was your day? What led you up to that point? Really, just questioning is important to understand yourself.
And, like, also, like, notice how people react, because, for example, you're not always in power of the energy around you, but in a sense you kind of are, because you can, like, feed it or you cannot. For example, I was, like, driving the other day listening to just, like, this meditation music, driving pretty slow. Driving stresses me out in general. I usually get anxiety, but I was driving pretty slow, and this person honked at me so aggressively, and I could have done two things. I could have honked back, flicked them off, or I could have been like, that B word. Like, I could have said something. Instead, I was like, she seems angry, and I just listened to my music and went about my day. I was like, she's got her own stuff going on, and, like, you know. So I feel like paying attention to, like what triggers you is so important.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, so what are some, like, common questions people ask you when it comes to Reiki healing and sound energy and all of that?
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of questions about it, of course, because it's kind of mysterious to some people and not knowledgeable, so kind of just explain it. So some questions I get would be, probably the most common would be like, is it religious? Is it gonna affect my religion? Okay. Is it gonna affect my connection to God? Is this devilish? Is this
people really ask that?
Yeah, is this bad for me? Am I supposed to be doing this? Or some people are afraid, so they're like, what did you do? Like, you get so many different reactions because it's something that they haven't experienced. Some people ask me like is this a placebo effect? Like, people just get straight to it. And what I always say is, like, I try to explain it as easy as possible. All I say is, it's energy. We all have it. It's not a religion. Reiki isn't a religion. It's just simply using the energy that we have, but it's amplified using like symbols to connect with that frequency more, and to just kind of be filled with it, and then you send it to the person. It's just a transfer, an exchange of energy, and I think that's why it freaks people out, because it's so strong that they're just like, this isn't normal, like, what, am I going crazy, like, am I really experiencing this? And so you do get some crazy questions. To me, they're a little bit out there, just because
you already know.
Yeah, but it's understandable. I always understand their viewpoint. Always, like, it's okay, I understand what you're saying, and I just try to explain it the best way I can to them, to show them that it's not that, because it isn't.
Well, a lot of people, I feel like, have the mentality, and this is probably just what, like, we're programmed to kind of think of, like, needing to see to believe. But you need to believe to see.
Yes.
You know, like, I feel like a lot of people think, like, oh, like, I don't know if it's gonna work because, like, I need the proof.
Yes.
And it's, like, you need to believe in yourself and believe in the energy and believe in the universe, and you'll be able to see. That's why you have these people that are so, like, they're like, this is it. Like, I've seen it, I've been there, I felt it. It's because they believe and they're able to see. You know, not everything can be put on paper.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that is something I do always get nervous about, just because you always, like, doing this work, you have to always be prepared for criticism, you have to be open to criticism, and you have to be open to not feeling judged, because I always get people that are judging off the bat. Oh, especially since my age, it's kind of, like, understandable. Like, oh, she's a little person. She's younger. Like, how is she going to do this to me? How is she going to woohoo me? Like, people always say that. And then, like, that's the pressure, is, like, I feel like I have to prove it to them. And so that's kind of the hard thing, is, like, feeling like if they don't feel it, then there's something wrong with me, or I'm not doing it right. And that's where you kind of have to be like, no, like, it is what it is. They'll get what they get from it, and they won't get what they won't if they don't. And they don't need it, you know? Because some people may be in a good place in their head and mind and body and soul naturally, and they may not need that extra Reiki. So when you heal them, they might not feel it that much, and they're like, this is fake. And this is that, you know? So it's hard, because you just feel like you have to prove yourself. You have to prove your gifts. You have to prove this to people. Or, like, people are like, oh, can you tell me this? Can you show me this? Can you do all this stuff? It's like, I don't have control over it completely, you know?
Yeah. That's why, there's just power in believing, and then you'll see for yourself.
Yes.
And, like, at the end of the day, no one can convince you other than yourself. So you just need to believe and, like, see it for yourself, and, like, try it out, see how it resonates with you, but do it with an open mind. Like, you can't do anything in life with a closed mind, you know? You need to do it with open mind.
Yeah, because if you go in thinking, like, this ain't for me, and you go with your nose up in the air, like, obviously you're not gonna enjoy it, because your mindset's already in this mindset. So like, just go being open to receiving, and be free with it. Like, allow yourself to feel, because that's another thing. Some people get tense, some people get anxious, and they start, you know, moving, or they stand up, or they just want to leave because they get afraid. And so
You've had people leave a session?
One time.
Wow.
Just because it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, feeling the energies. Sometimes people, like, it's overwhelming, but it's also, like, nice. Like, you know, when you get to removing the energy, it can be a little bit discomfort, because, I mean, imagine, like, you have scars on your body, energetic scars, that are just being finally opened, so you can heal fully. So that can be sometimes uncomfortable, and that's the thing with being open-minded and being open to feeling and seeing and being, you know.
And I feel like some people might resonate with this, but just like my big like awakening, I feel like, is when I realized that I have had like past lives and like that my soul has traveled. With that being said, that means that like maybe this lifetime, like I've had like a very grateful, blessed like life, but I still have triggers, and I still have like sadness, and I still have like things that linger.
Mm-hmm.
And like just learning and accepting that those are things from either some are from my childhood, but then others are from a past that stick with you, and that I need to learn in this lifetime and be open to that, and be open to working on shifting the energy is like so important, you know? Like a lot of the time when we have triggers, or just like we get upset by something, or something kind of rubs us the wrong way, or react a certain way, that is from unhealed wound.
Yes.
You know? Because we talked about this earlier, but like the journey never really ends. You're always healing. But like it's more of just like getting more to the top with yourself, and like
I would say like just being open to healing and realizing everyone needs healing. So therefore realizing you need healing, and then putting in the work to discover how to heal is really important, because it's like once you start that, you realize that you're working to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the whole point of healing. That's the whole point of fixing things, is to be content, happy, and at peace.
Mm-hmm.
Like who wants to have a heartbreak pain their whole life?
Yeah.
From something. So it's just like all spirituality is to improve your life.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I don't know, like I just think that just people should be more open to it, because it really does change your life. Like
it changes your whole like perspective.
Yeah.
Like your perspective, and like I feel like I used to take things so personal, and now I really don't. I brush things off more. I feel like I react better just by like learning about things that trigger me, and like how I can work on reacting, and like I feel like it gives you this like better way of life in a sense, which
Awareness.
like awareness. And like I feel like there's this like negative like vibe when people think of the word healing.
Yes.
They think of it as like, oh, they have a problem.
Yeah.
And it's like,
or there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, there's something wrong with them. They should like, they need help.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, we are all healing. That is why we're on earth. We are all healing. And second of all, like, healing is a good thing. Healing is a positive thing. You know? I'm glad I'm not putting a Band-Aid on it, and I'm healing it.
Exactly. And that's why it's like, it's so good right now, because people are becoming more open to healing. Therefore, people are not being as affected by emotions, and just there's just better, I think, improving mental health this way. Because like if someone's dealing with anger their whole life, and they're just snappy and ruining relationships with their family because they're angry at whatever is going on with them, it's like healing can just almost solve that, because you're understanding your triggers. Therefore you'll realize where not to put yourself in those situations. You're realizing like why it triggers you, so you can somewhat fix that in today, like your present moment. And you also can explain to other people that, hey, like, I'm not offended by you because you're going through your own stuff. And so it just makes things go easier, because when you have the perspective that, oh, someone else went through something, or they snapped at me because I said this, because they have a trigger, it just makes the whole world go easier. Yeah. Just understanding people's perspectives, and that everyone has issues, therefore not taking anything too personal.
Yeah.
Because, like, like now when someone snaps at me, I just kind of take a breath and, like, it's not personal.
Yeah. It's a reflection on them.
Yeah.
It really is. And, like, the way that you go about reacting to certain things is really a reflection on you. And, like, okay, I feel like I handled this situation great, and I'm proud of myself, even though maybe they didn't. It's like, okay, well, that's okay if they didn't. That's on them. There's no reason to put that on you. And that's something I'm working on. It's like, everyone's in their own place in life, and you just have to kind of like accept that. going back to you, do you ever see people's auras and you're like, well, do you, like, when you're just in the grocery store, can you see people's auras?
Not automatically, but if I choose to, I can possibly see it faintly.
Okay, but, like, obviously you don't want to go to the grocery store and be like, oh, let's see this dark aura, this good aura.
Yeah,
like,
and that goes back to, like, I don't have control over it yet because it is a progress. It's, like, you have to really work on the gifts because it's so easy to turn them off, but so hard to turn them on. So it's kind of like, I can see it if I want to. If I choose to really, like, look at your aura right now, I probably could see it.
Wait, did you say it's harder to turn it on?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's easier for you to turn it off. And
yes.
you obviously try to turn it off if you're going to go into public places,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Because, it can be overwhelming. Like, my gift, I can hear a lot of insight. And so sometimes when I'm in the grocery store, I hear so much chatter that you, like, almost want to run out. But I'm getting better, so I do use crystals to help protect me from the chatter. Labradorite, black tourmaline are my favorite because Labradorite helps me kind of connect to myself so that I'm not tapping into all these different minds. Because sometimes you could be open without knowing it. Sometimes I'm like, holy shoot, my gift is turned on right now and I didn't even know it. And now I'm like having anxiety because I'm overwhelmed with energy.
Wow.
So again, just going back to being aware. But if I really want to use my gift, like when I do one-on-one sessions and I do activate my gift because I'm like, I need to, serve for this person, hold space, then yeah, I kind of can turn it on and off. So it just depends.
Wow. How do you, like, you said that you, like, cleanse yourself after, like, you have sessions with people and after you do the group meditations, but is there certain ways that you realign yourself? I know that you don't do meditation as much other than the group ones, but, like, do you have certain things for you that help you realign, that you feel centered?
Yes, music, definitely, because if I feel off, like in energy, angry energy or sad energy, I will listen to a song that resonates with that. And then it will kind of help me see why I'm feeling that. And, like, that helps me realign because I can release it through the music. Like, singing really helps me realign because I can connect with the energy of the song. And that helps bring it out or release it. In that way, instead of crying, it's more like I'm just singing that kind of frequency of sadness instead of actually crying. Another thing would be to, I really like to drink water. Drinking water helps me align, honestly, because like it helps me feel like coldness down my body, myself, and so it kind of helps me be more like grounded too, because different warm sensations, cold sensations help me kind of be more present, because I do tend to like just go out of myself really easily since my gifts are more mental gifts. I'm always in my head, so I'm never really grounded. So that's also something I try to work on. Which is why I kind of put that into my meditation now, because I think it's important to ground.
Yeah, it's like really important.
Yeah.
So before we close out, do you have any advice?
Yeah, some advice I would give to literally anyone would be make happiness your priority, because once you have that goal set into your mind, you just work towards being content and peaceful in your life, because you work on improving your inner self, and just really like changing that can just overall bring you a sense of joy naturally instead of feeling stressed all the time. That's why sound baths and Reiki Healing help that. It really encouraged that energy, and I always see that, like, changing people when they come. Like, they just say, like, oh my god, like, my life is just so much more relaxed, so much more happy. Like, I feel genuine happiness from things I didn't, and I'm finding my creativity. So, definitely just make happiness your priority, and I think you will get the most out of life that way, because you just improve it naturally.
I love how you said find happiness in things you didn't used to.
Yeah.
Because that resonates with me so much. Like, I literally find happiness. I talk to my food when I cook, usually. Like, when I'm feeling good. Like, when I make my smoothie bowls, like, I talk to my food. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, I find so much joy in that. Where, like, I feel like I used to kind of do things mindlessly. And now, like, I find happiness in, like, when we did the meditation today, I thought it was really beautiful that when I first got there was a lot of clouds. They were like pretty spread out. It was still sunny,
Overcast,
but they went away.
Yeah.
It was perfectly blue after. And like, I don't know, it's the simple things in life are honestly like biggest.
Yeah, and I think that's what comes along with becoming more happy, because you enjoy the simplest things because you're grateful. I mean, you're not worried about the negative when you make happiness your priority. And so I think that's important too.
Yeah. Gratitude,
Yes,
gratitude, attitude. Okay. Well, I feel like I have like more things I want to talk about, but this is like we'll do another one.
Yeah.
Like, another one.
Part 2, guys.
Part 2. We'll do a part 2 where we get like, maybe we'll do one where we get like
more
really
complex.
like complex on like your spiritual journey and like that stuff, and more detailed type of one. This was kind of touching the surface, but we did cover a lot of stuff. So to close out, well, if you guys are in LA, Sierra you do private stuff?
Yeah, I do private sessions, and please, like, join my group sessions. Like, if you're afraid, just come out for the group session. There's plenty of people who are like you, it's their first time, and you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and I will put her Instagram in my little description. And yeah, if you guys want to if you're in LA, do a group one, and if you feel like you want to do a private session, there's that option too. Just like come, it's so fun. It's honestly amazing. Everyone's so nice and just like open.
It's just a positive community altogether. I think it's really good to step away from your personal life and go to like a group setting, a family setting sort of vibes where we can just be supporting each other in healing.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this like episode. I really did. It's really fun to have you on. So thank you
so much for having me.
Thank you for spending time to do this. Especially like after we did the whole night.
I know, we just had a sound bath.
We just had a whole sound bath this morning, this rising. So that was great. But yeah, we'll do another one, and yeah, and if you guys have questions, message me, and it'd be fun to maybe do one where we get people's questions, like on your Instagram. You could have what people want to know.
Like a poll.
Yeah, a poll, and then we could talk about it here.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But hope you guys have a great now, and I'll see you next time.